Welcome back to your hijama course. On this course we will look into the anatomy and physiology, and we will look into a bit on the human body. All the diagrams will be given to you on the PDF file. I will just roughly briefly go through what is in this chapter, just to give you a break on the chapter itself. Now I recommend that you print out the whole PDF, and while you're going through the videos, you could just kind of like browse through them and print those PDF file out. The human body, we look into the functions of the skeleton on this section, and I advise that you also learn the terminologies of the different skeletons. So rather than calling this your head, you call it the skull. You got, rather than calling your kneecap the kneecap, you can call it the patella. Then the bones, the long bones, you got the tibia, the fibula, the femur. Okay, so you learn all these terminologies. The more terms you learn, the more professional you'll sound as a hijama practitioner. And also you could put like a diagram of the human body in your clinics, so when your clients do come in, they see a nice professional setting and it looks more of a clinical environment. Okay, so functions of the skeleton, I'll just go through this. This is on your PDF. The shape, it provides the shape. The skeleton gives us our shape and determines our size. It also provides movement, so the skeleton allows us to move. Muscles are attached to the bones and moves them as levers. Okay, it protects. The skeleton is also provides protection for the delicate parts of the body, like the brain and the lungs, and also supports. The skeleton supports muscles and organs, acting as a framework. It supports the body to walk and stand. The back and chest bones support internal organs. Ligaments holds together the bones. Okay, so these are some of the functions. You can go through this. It is always good to know, some anatomy and physiology knowledge for your hijama. On this section, we look into a bit on the blood cell productions. Now, a lot of people, when they do hijama, they get kind of concerned that, oh, they have lost some blood, and they get they have less blood in their body. But this is not the case. In hijama, we do not move the blood from the veins, which is the intravenous blood. We move the non-intravenous blood. This is the blood which is just sitting on the surface of your skin. So blood cells are made from bone marrow. So in blood cell production, there are two types of bone marrow. So we have the red marrow, also known as myeloid and tissue, and the yellow marrow. Red blood cells, platelets, and most white blood cells arise in red marrow. Some white blood cells developed in yellow marrow. So red, white blood cells and platelets are formed in the bones. Red bone marrows can be found in the ends of long bones. So a long bone could be like your fibula, and so things like the ribs, humerus, femur, and vertebrae bones. This is also where blood cells are produced. The shaft of long bone is filled with yellow bone marrow. No blood cells are produced here. Now this will be much more clearer when you look into the diagrams that is in the PDF. Blood. So how much blood does the average human body have? In general, adults usually have between 4 to 7 liters of blood. The amount of blood varies per human. Blood can be roughly worked out through percentage of their total body weight. So the percentage is about 7% for adults. So for a 70 kg human, it would work out to be around 4.9 liters of blood. Furthermore, you could look into the diagram on how what the blood composition is. Blood contains white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. Okay, the diagram on the PDF will be showing you this illustration. These blood cells float in blood plasma, okay, which is a yellow liquid, and blood plasma is made up of 90% water, and in that The 10% contains electrolytes, gases, nutrients, hormones, and glucose. Red blood cells carry oxygen around the body. Red blood cells contains protein, hemoglobin, iron, and oxygen, which is found in hemoglobin, gives our blood that bright red color. Okay, so when red blood cells develop, the bone marrow it circulates in the body for around 120 days. White blood cells are vital for the human body immune system. They defend against cancer cells, infectious diseases, viruses, bacteria, and unwanted materials. Platelets is what helps blood to clot. So when our skin is cut, it will limit their bleeding. Blood is a total tool that can take away unwanted waste products from our body. So the next chapter, the next section, we'll look into how much blood can be taken during hijama. So, according to the NHS, the National Health Services in the UK, it takes about up to 470 millilitres of blood during a blood donation in the UK. This is equivalent to the size of a drinking bottle, the 500 milliliter bottle. Okay, so which is around this size. We use this as a guide. So in hijama, we're taking non-intravenous blood. So the maximum blood we take out during hijama is 470 milliliters, no matter how many cups are applied. If a patient requires further treatment, they must come back for another session about 4 to 6 weeks time. So roughly around 12 cups per session, not more than that. However, depending on the condition, majority of patients will not reach the 470 limit. Okay, so this is the size of a small Evian bottle. Okay, a lot of people have between 200 to 300 milliliters of blood taken. So roughly, if it's 470, we just to keep it on a safe level, you could just go half of it. So even about 300 milliliters. So donating blood versus hijama. Now a lot of people get confused regarding blood donation and hijama. So phlebotomy, which is known as donating blood, is commonly confused with hijama. The easiest way to describe the difference between the two is phlebotomy, blood is taken from the veins, okay, and where hijama, blood is taken from the outer parts of the body. So after a hijama session, it is important that the patient is advised to take medicine and have proper nutrition in order to help the blood-made blood cells. So vitamin B helps produce blood cells. Vitamin B6, B9, and B12, along with the minerals, coppers, and irons, help produce healthy blood cells. So, in terms of nutritious food, it is advised that patient eats lots of leafy greens, okay, any fortified cereals and lean meats. So things like spinach, sort of like chicken, and sort of like fish as well, which is also lean meat. So avoid having red meat. If a patient is on blood pressure medicine, they should not stop their medication and continue to take it as normal. The other section we should be looking into is the types of muscles. So because hijama deals with blood related issues and muscle issues, it is also recommended that you look more into muscles and how they function. These are three types of muscles. So we have the voluntary muscle, the involuntary, and the cardiac. So the voluntary muscle is this muscle that's connected to your skeletal. Okay, so this will be the job of the skeletal muscle is to move the arms and legs. So if I voluntarily move my arm, I am actually voluntarily telling my brain to move my arm, and with the help of the skeletal muscle. This muscle is attached to the bones. Your conscious control is what commands the muscle to move. When the brain relaxes, the signals stop and the muscles also relax. This muscle is also known as striated muscle because it has a stripped appearance. This you would see on the PDF file that we provide. Then the other muscle is the involuntary muscle. So this is the smooth muscle. Involuntary muscle plays one of the most important roles in maintaining the body systems. It keeps cells supplied with nutrients and oxygen. These muscles are found in and around the body organs such as blood vessels and intestines. These muscles work without our mind needing to control them. So it will be your small intestines, your large intestines, all the muscles that is built in with in the organs, and these are works involuntarily without our command. It is doing its job. And the other part is the cardiac muscle. So cardiac muscle is the is like the heart muscle. The cardiac muscle is formed on the walls of the heart chambers. It is classed as involuntary muscle as it works without conscious instructions. If the heart is kept healthy, the cardiac muscle is healthy and doesn't get tired. Okay, so you would see on the PDF how these muscles are structured, and have a look at those for a better understanding with the videos clips. And finally, for this section, we look into the 4 ways the body removes waste. Again, it is on the PDF file. So the 4 ways the body will remove waste is a digestive tract, the urinary tract, through sweating and breathing. Okay, so the digestive tract is when toxins and waste are eliminated in the stool, thus protecting the body from toxic accumulation. As food is ingested, it is passed through the digestive tract and is continually broken down. Nutrients are absorbed along the way. What the body cannot utilize is then eliminated in the stools. And the other one is urinary tract. The urinary system is primary system is responsible for elimination of metabolic waste. The complex urinary system filters blood through the kidneys as a means of maintaining homeostasis, means wellness, and physical pH within the body. The main function of the urinary tract is to store and release urine. Sweating, the third way, is a way of the body to rid itself of toxins which are stored in the fat tissues through sweat. The sweat can be caused by fever, exercise, summer weather, sauna, steam room, etc. And breathing is how the body maintains homeostasis. Okay, so homeostasis is keeping a balance of being well. The lungs eliminate carbon dioxide with every breath. pH balance in the body is achieved through breathing. So those are the 4 ways. So the digestive tract, the urinary tract, sweating and breathing. So these are by default how the body would actually remove toxins through how the body would do it naturally. The 5th method that we use is quite obvious, is hijama, that we actually do it ourselves to help the body give it a boost and remove those stagnated blood that is sitting on the surface of the skin. Hello and welcome back to this section, still on the anatomy and physiology. This section is very interesting. It looks into Dr. Parker's study of removing waste. So someone who is not familiar with hijama, wet cupping, they could say this stuff doesn't really work. What am I doing? Just removing blood which has been just sitting there in the body. There is no scientific backup that your method works. So in this section we'll look into how Dr. Parker has proven that removing this stagnated blood is really immensely helpful. So do please download the PDF or look into the PDF on Dr. Parker's study of removing waste. So just to roughly go through this, David Parker works in the field of clinical nutrition, so naturopathy and the research of effectiveness of both modern and ancient healing techniques. Some of the words taken from his work show, as a naturopath, nutritionist and healer, I was intrigued to explore reasons why the ancient art of cupping or hijama therapy was so effective in treating a whole of ailments and illnesses. Now I'll just read a few more paragraphs. I was curious to know more about the blood which was being extracted via the cups from areas of the body. I started analyzing the blood under dark field and light field microscopy. The dry layered blood samples viewed under light field microscopy consistently showed high contractions of toxic metals and chemicals, as well as showing evidence of bacterial and parasitic activity. The appearance of the live blood under the dark field microscope um, showed that there was high concentration of acids and inflammatory proteins, often referred to as fibrin. These phenomena were more frequently present when the blood was removed from an area where the patient was experiencing pain and inflammation. I conclude from this that the area of pain appears to act like a magnet for acids, toxins, and pathogens. It is therefore very logical to assume that removal of these from the local area will bring out symptomatic relief while encouraging fresh circulating blood to deliver healing nutrients and oxygen to the affected tissue, thus providing healing resolution. Together with dietary change, cleansing and detoxification therapy, along with education regarding the avoidance of toxins with the patient's environment, I see hijama wet cupping as a very effective adjunctive therapy on the path to wellness. So this was something taken from Dr. Parker's study of removing waste. If someone says, hijama doesn't work and stuff like this, provide them with Dr. Parker's study of removing waste, and that would actually back up your therapy. So you could even use this in your clinic, keep it as a manual, and when you are acquiring new clients. So all the best with that.